A former Utah State Senate candidate named Trestin Meacham is protesting against District Judge Robert Shelby's recent decision allowing same-sex marriages to proceed in the state by fasting. He began the fast on the day the ruling was issued, presumably after failing to hold his breath long enough to force the government to throw gays back in the closet. Now, with that option gone, he says he intends to not eat until same-sex marriage is once again banned in Utah, and he's lost 25 pounds so far. I cannot stand by and do nothing while this evil takes root in my home. Some things in life are worth sacrificing one's health and even life if necessary. And I agree with Trestin, some things are worth sacrificing one's life. I think many gay Americans would be willing to put their lives on the line to secure the same rights for themselves that other Americans enjoy, for instance. That would be very understandable. Now, starving yourself to keep two homosexuals from having the state recognize their love for one another, I'd say that's less understandable. He goes on to say, I am but a man and do not have the money and power to make any noticeable influence in our corrupt system. Nevertheless, I can do something that people in power cannot ignore. Well, you're half right, Trestin. I've at least noticed you, although I have no power. No word yet from Judge Shelby about whether this man's rumbling stomach is shaking his confidence in the ruling. Bear in mind, this is a man who received 13.6% of the vote when he ran for a state Senate seat against the GOP incumbent, raising $100 along the way. And that's sad, but what's sadder is that Trestin apparently actually did have it in himself to make at least a few media outlets take note of him. And look at what it was for. Rather than standing up for the inherent dignity of his fellow Americans, he's withering away because he thinks it's icky when two men kiss. He's not alone, by the way, in his knee-jerk homophobic reaction. The state of Utah plans to spend at least $2 million to defeat the ruling. And for what? Minnesota legalized same-sex marriage back in November. I haven't heard about any horrible side effects of it just yet. And in Utah, the only negative effect of gays getting married might actually be Meacham's growing malnourishment. The man says he's gotten a number of vile, hateful messages since he started his fast. And he says the homosexual movement is less tolerant than the Nazis. And if they had the power of the Nazis, I have no doubt that they would not hesitate to march people of faith into ovens. Now that may sound crazy, but you'll have to forgive him for the oven imagery. He's extremely hungry.